What is happening, y'all? Welcome back to what is likely our final episode for the walkthrough, and it's time to head on into the final boss. Now this next encounter, there's going to be a lot of holy damage coming out, so we are going to prepare for that. As much as I love having cold on my bash, if I make this sacred, I have a 93.7% reduction to holy damage, which will shut down pretty much any and all holy damage coming at me. Additionally, I'm not going to be bashing with that, so I could do Barricade Sacred to just really bring home the fact that nothing is going to hurt me. We're going to try out the axe. I don't know if this is going to work well, to be honest. It's kind of too slow compared to the other stuff I've been using, but maybe it'll be fun. Some things to talk about here. So this is a two-phase boss fight. First up, we fight Radagon. Radagon uses a hammer. He's pretty aggressive. He's kind of floaty in the air at times. He can do these little ground explosions that you can hop, very similar to Horaloo's. All of his spell bullshit, he's going to be throwing out a bunch of spells at you. You can spell parry all of that, so I'd highly suggest just boop, nope, shut that shit down real fast. He has a really big wind-up that's going to cover almost the entire arena, and it's like a triple slam as well. The best thing to do on that triple slam is just get behind him. When he does his float in the air wind up, you want to kind of like run towards him and then roll right as it's connecting, and you should dodge it. But it's a huge hitbox, so it's kind of hard, to be honest. After that, we have Elden Beast. You want to hit the thing in the belly. Melee weapons are going to work best. I'm going to actually try it out. I've heard that Black Flame Tornado can just absolutely melt this guy. I'm not sure myself, but I am curious to see it happen. So we have that on our Knight Rider glaive, and we'll try that out when the time comes. He has a couple different things. He has Elden Stars, which we can spell parry, but it's going to chase you around, and it's going to be really annoying, and it's going to deal holy damage, and it's a pain in the ass to deal with, which is why I mentioned, that holy spell is really helpful here. He has these things where rings will coalesce around you. You want to hop over the rings. He has this thing where there's like holy rain that's coming down at you, and you can just literally like run in circles and it'll miss. And then he has giant waves of light that'll swing at you with his sword, and those you're going to want to roll through. The hardest part of the second phase is honestly just keeping up with the guy. But either way, let's head on in. Summon here is dealer's choice. One thing I want to point out though, Elden Beast is immune to bleed. So if you are running an arcane build and you're relying on bleed, make a weapon occult and use that. Bleed cannot carry you through this final encounter, sadly. Either way, let's go on in. America is Radagon. The lore here is at some point, America basically split herself off, and that created Radagon. Radagon was married to Rennala, and then at some point she called Radagon back, probably when she tried to shatter the ring. And so that ended up causing them to like fuse back together, ring shattered. So anyway, you're fighting Radagon, but also technically Queen Marika, because they're the same person. There it is, the hammer that shattered the ring. Cue the title music, because it's time for a showdown. So our holy shield should shut down almost everything he does. I don't know if it'll stop the AoEs beneath us, but just about everything else it will. There it is. There it is, the Elden Ring. It's waiting for us. Just gotta reach in and take it. Summon up Tish for this. Oh wow, I should have really used my runes before coming in here. Yeah, this is gonna be way too slow for me to use probably, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Boys monster! Yeah, it's a little bit hard to use it against the boss who can't be staggered at all. I like this thing, but not for this fight. That's the super big AoE he does. Ooh. Rolled when I should have jumped. I mean, you can see, we did almost nothing there, and Tish basically took out like half of his health, so if we're just using a proper weapon, we'll be fine here. I love the axe, it's just, fights like this, the axe isn't really intended. It's just too slow, to be honest. Let's see. There, still 100,000 short. I'd like to get that level, so we're gonna try and just pop a bunch of these. Not all of them, because I'd like to have some sitting in reserve. Oh, there we go, perfect. A beautiful 170. That's nice. It's a lot of levels. It's a lot of levels. See, but that's why I think 150 is good, because if you did most of the content, skipped a couple of guys here and there, you'd still be 150 by the end of things. 170 if you're, you know, doing everything and gobbling up things left and right. You can save Tish for the second encounter if you want. I don't think it's needed. Personally, I think Radagon's the easier of the fights. But I've heard some people say that they think he's much harder. Yep. Holy Barricade Shield says no. This is the big triple slam that I said you should watch out for. I did not mean to use that. That's okay. That you can spell parry. I forgot about the delay on that. He's almost dead anyway. Dab on the hater. And then this part gets wild. Similar to Horaloo and Millennia, this is a two-phase fight. So it's like, you know, you have to do both. You have to beat him every time if you lose it in phase 2. A little bit of Bloodborne happening in your Dark Souls, huh? That's right. The final boss of Elden Ring is the Loch Ness Monster. He's gonna do some breath. does mess him up. I mean, I guess it is like a god-slaying flame, so it makes sense. Okay, here come the rings. I feel like I need to die here just to show his mechanics properly. So jump over the rings and then get out of it. It's going to do a big old AoE. You don't want to be caught in that. He does this, just go to the side. Just doing stuff with the sword. So this is Elden Stars comboed with the rain. And see, the rain we can just outrun. Elden Stars is just going to keep chasing us. Get off of me! God, it's so annoying. Oh, okay, there we go. Jesus. I was talking all that shit and he was like, oh, you think you're about to kill me? Here, let me show you every single move in my arsenal right now. Yeah, that hurts. Hurts him at least. Oh, you're teleporty exploding. That's, you don't see that one a lot. Anyway, just chase him down, poke the chest. At this point, the hardest part of this fight, honestly, is just the running. It's gonna do the rings. This is like a super version of the ring attack, so the same rules apply. Just you gotta jump twice, 3 times. If you actually get enough attacks into the chest, you can stagger him and get a critical. But with that, we have the Elden Remembrance, and you have slain a god. Now, this is the critical moment, because this is where we can get all of our endings. That is going to summon Ronnie's ending. If you interact with that, that's how you get the other endings. And this is also where we want to back up our save. So, we're going to hit the grace. And we're going to hop on over to the round-tabled hold. And let's talk about the Remembrance. Because, oh man, you can get some goodies from this. I mean, it's final boss, you know, it makes sense, but... so, yes. The America's Hammer. This thing is, I mean, it's a solid weapon in and of itself. The unique skill is kind of slow. It's Radagon's big old, like, poise up in the air and come down and slam. You hit people with it, you're probably going to one-shot them, but it's very slow to come out, so food for thought. Sacred Relic Sword is probably the strongest weapon in the entire game. While it doesn't have the straight AR, the unique skill is insane. Imagine Blasphemous Blade, but if it went even further, and it was like 15 to 20 feet wide. You can wipe out entire camps of enemies with this thing. You also get more runes for killing enemies with it, some people have said. I haven't noticed that personally, but I mean, at this point in the game, who's counting runes, right? So either of these are really solid choices. I would personally recommend the Sacred Relic Sword. If you don't want either, of course, you can gobble that on up, and you are going to get a buttload of runes for it. Boom. Now, at this point, before we continue, one of the things I want to point out is we have done almost no mausoleums. And I don't know if y'all have done them, but keep in mind, there are mausoleums all over this map. I mentioned back at the start, mark them. At this point, go to the mausoleums, duplicate any remembrances that you may want. If there's no particular items you want, just duplicate the highest level remembrance that you can at that particular mausoleum and give yourself a ton of runes. because with all those runes, we're going to load up on things before we go to like New Game Plus. So just for example, you need to have at least 12 to fully upgrade a weapon. So if I'm sitting on 36 of everything at least, that's going to give me enough that I could fully upgrade 3 new weapons. Look at that. Which, let's talk about what happens after we go to New Game Plus. So New Game Plus is something that it's not these you only need 1, so we're gonna get like 10, I think. 10. New Game Plus we're seeing in more and more games, but basically the idea is you just replay through the game, and you keep all of your gear, you keep all of your weapons, all that stuff stays with you, but you get to replay through the game again, fighting all the bosses, speeding through, doing whatever you want. So let's talk about what we keep. Our level goes with us when we go to New Game Plus. All of our gear, all of our talismans, all of our consumable stuff, all of the tiers we grabbed for this, all of that stuff gets to come with you to New Game Plus. So the idea is you're going back to the start, but you're now like this super badass that has a giant shield and halberd and all that stuff. Now, we don't get to bring everything though. Our key items, we're going to lose these. So your great runes, those are going to be gone. These are going to stay. Tiers stay. But yeah, you're not going to have your great runes anymore. You're going to lose those. Stuff like this, Mending Rune of Order and Death Prince and the Fell Rune of the Curse, you're going to lose that stuff. Particular keys, you're going to lose. You're going to keep the Stone Sword key, but the medallions, you're going to lose that stuff. The Celian Seal Breaker, stuff like Black Knife Print, Celivis' Introduction, Miniature Rani. This also reminded me I forgot to do Millennia's Great Rune, so let's show that to y'all real fast. The easiest way to get there is going to be right here. But so basically anything that's related to the progress of the game in the sense of like, oh, you need this item to proceed somewhere, all of that stuff will be lost. So, you know, you need to get the medallion again to proceed. You can't just start right at the very end of the game. Additionally, and probably the biggest thing, you are going to lose access to all of your graces. All of the graces that we have. Once you go to New Game Plus, the map's going to be fully uncovered, so you're going to be able to see everything, but all of those grace sites that you picked up, those are going to be gone. So obviously that kind of sucks, because you know you're going to be riding for a long time on Torrent again. And probably the most significant thing when you go to New Game Plus, and honestly I don't know why they did this, but you lose access to all of the ball bearings that you've collected. So the ability to just buy upgrade stones, you know, the ability to buy Ghost Glovewort, all of that stuff is going to be gone. And so because of that, that's why my recommendation is at this point of the game that you duplicate any remembrances you haven't used, you load up on runes, and you make sure to buy up as much as you possibly can now. So yeah, this is where the lift's at, but that lift is now defunct, which is why we come here and do this way. Yeah, that part sucks a lot, but you know, most of your stuff, like all of your ashes, they're going to come with you. All of your bolstering materials, they're going to come with you. All of your spells, incantations, ashes of war, all of these things, all of your armor, you know, these are going to come with you. Your info stuff is going to come with you. I never did kill that guy. It's not like it matters. He is a nobody at this point. I've killed a god. Who are you to challenge me? Doesn't really make sense to even get this great room because we're about to end the game. This is one thing that's kind of sad, is you don't actually get anything for having all of the great runes. I figured, you know, hey, maybe if you have every single great rune and you go to end the game, maybe there's like a secret ending or something. Nope, nothing. You could beat the game with like 3 great runes, or you could beat it with all of them. It isn't going to make a difference. But we'll go activate the final one. There's also a DLC theory that I've read, and I really like this, but so check it out. We have one here over, this is one, this is the Radagon Tower, this is the Limgrave Tower, this is the Liurnia Tower, this is the West Tower, this is the East Tower, and so what's in the middle? There's a big old cloud, and there's probably something inside that cloud, and the theory is that that's going to be something involving DLC. I mean, it's goofy, but I was like, you know what? That it does seem way too much by design to just be a coincidence that they are a perfectly symmetrical shape. But Millennia's Rune is definitely a really interesting one. Just to go through this real fast, we got it. Go on over to inventory and our great runes. The idea here is our heals are going to do like half, but we basically get Bloodborne, what's it called? Frenzy? No, not Frenzy. Rally. We get Bloodborne Rally. So the idea is when we get hit, there's a small portion of our health gauge that's going to be recoverable. So as long as you're continually attacking, you can keep offsetting health loss. So obviously you're going to want a lot of poise to use something like this. Very situational, but has a lot of potential. So anyway, all of that done. Spend all of your runes, do whatever you need to, head on over to the Fractured Marika Grace, and now it is time to get all of our endings. Now from here, we are going to System, Quit Game, and go to the title menu. Now once you're at the title menu, you're safe to do this. You can completely quit the game if you want. But we're going to go to Elden Ring. We're going to go Upload, Download, Save Data. And you're going to go Console Storage, Upload. It's going to close the game. This is also going to turn off autosync. We do not want autosync on. If autosync is on, that's going to mess things up for you. So that is good. And now we're going to go back in. Now for PC players, all you need to do is open up a file folder, and it's going to be located in app data. So just to, hang on one second. I don't know if I can even do this real fast. Let me see if I can add a window here to show you this. Window capture. Oh, there we go, perfect. Alright, so if you're on PC, what you're going to want to do is right here, you're going to go the percentage sign, app data, percentage sign, / Elden Ring. And that's going to bring you to this folder. From this folder, you go inside here, and then right here, ER0000, this is your save file. So all you would do is you just take that, copy it, paste it. This is a backup. This is your save. This .back, that is a file that, like, if your save gets corrupted, this is what the game is going to pull from. But so, all you're going to do is after you get an ending, you're going to go back to this screen right here. You're going to grab this, you're going to delete it, and then you're going to grab this, you're going to rename it, and you're just going to delete that portion so it's ER0000 once again, and then copy it. So the idea is you should always have a backup. So a good example right now is I could have a second backup. After I get an ending, I'm going to take this file, delete it, go here, rename, boom. And now my save is restored right exactly back to where it was. Now, Xbox gang, things are going to be a little bit trickier for you. From my understanding, I don't think you can actually, I don't think Xbox has cloud saving, but you can, like, it's, I don't know, it's weird. You need to basically, like, save the game, get here, back out, disconnect yourself from the internet, and then that way you have a local save. You get the local save. When you reconnect, Xbox is going to try and sync with the cloud. You let the cloud overwrite it, and then you do the same thing, and you, like, keep disconnecting. For PlayStation gang, on PS4 you could just use a USB. On PS5, I don't think we can use USB on PS5. I know some people were saying that you couldn't, but let me see. If you were going to, you'd have to be over... Save data. Yeah, so you can use, well, if you're playing on the PS4 version, you can use USB, but you can't with the PS5. You'd have to have, get a trial for PS Plus or whatever. But yeah, anyway, so let's get the Frenzy one out of the way first. We'll go and get that real fast. So that, we are just going to go down to, there we go, Frenzied Flame prescription. And I'm going to let y'all watch all of these endings on your own, just because I don't want the video to go... Well, I don't know, some of them are pretty short. We got a strip naked. I mean, technically you should do this one last if you want to get the Frenzied Flame seal, but doesn't matter. Go through this, you're going to open the door naked, and you're going to get a hug, and then you're going to be covered in stuff. Where's my armor at anyway? Okay, and now we're going to go back to Fractured America. Doing the Frenzy one will prevent you from doing any of the other endings initially, so you can see all the signs are gone. I'm going to go on over here, become the Lord of the Frenzied Flame. With this one, the face is going to crumble away, and you are going to awaken as the new Lord. The death of a god, and the rise of another. That's right, you have the Eye of Sauron as your face now. And then because it's Frenzy, this is the bad guy ending, the world burns, yada yada yada. Lord of the Frenzied Flame achieved. So, from here, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go upload, download, save data. Cloud. Download. Yes. You can see the 930 save, overwrite the 935 save. Download that, and then go back in. Obviously, you could play through the game multiple times to get all the endings, but I know some people they got their one and that's it. But you can see we're right back to where we were. I'm going to save that one for last because it's my favorite. So touch, and then this is because we went and did all those side quests. So at the Elden Ring, use the Perfect Order, use the Death Prince, use the Fell Curse. Honestly, this is basically just going to be a palette swap. It doesn't really change much, but you know, you pick whichever one you want. You can go through all of them if you really want to, you know, reload the save multiple times, but the general events of how this one play out are all going to be the same. You're going to pick up the head, you're going to put the head on the statue, then you're going to be sitting in the throne as Elden Lord, and then it's either like the Age of Curse, or the Age of Death, or the Age of whatever, depending on the ending that you choose. I ended up taking the one that's named after a guy that likes to eat poop and defile corpses, so that's fun, right? And this is the part where it will differ, depending on what you chose.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a Tarnished became Elden Lord. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Our seed will look back upon us.
All the dialogue up till now is actually identical as well.
The reviled curse that defined our age. The blessing of despair.
And regardless of which of those you choose, you will get your Elden Lord trophy. Yeah, it's kind of, I wish there was more to it, because I mean, quite literally, it's that, like, the blessing of despair, the blessing of order, the blessing of death, that's it. So download that cloud save one more time. Again, make sure cloud storage to console. The last thing you want to do is like accidentally overwrite your cloud during this process, so always take a moment, double check. The last one, we are going to summon Ronnie. Easily the best ending, by the way.
The battle is over, I see.
I mean, with 4 hands, think of the great massages she's going to give. She can rub both your shoulders and your lower back at the same time. Oh my god. Obviously, she's the waifu of choice.
Swear to every living being and every living soul. Now cometh the age of the stars. 1,000-year voyage under the wisdom of the moon. Here beginneth the chill night that encompasses all, reaching the great beyond. Into fear, doubt, and loneliness, as the path stretcheth into darkness. Well then, shall we? My fair consort eternal.
And with that, you get the Age of Stars. And with the Age of Stars, you get your Platinum. So, you can see Begin Journey 2. If you go ahead and select No, we're back at the round table. We have access to everything on the map. And now we can farm and do whatever else we want, you know, before we decide to go to New Game Plus. Whenever you're ready, just go right here, rest at the table, Begin Journey 2. So, that is going to wrap things up. It has been a hell of a journey. By far, the yeah, man, this was the longest walkthrough I have ever attempted. If this game got you interested in the other Souls games, I also have walkthroughs for them. Not all of them. I mean, the Dark Souls 2 one isn't quite as detailed as the rest, because, you know, I got better with time, but it's more than sufficient to get you through those games as well. But either way, thank you so much for your patience and support with this series. It has been a tremendous undertaking and one that I will likely never forget. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. So thanks for watching. If you like it, hopefully you subscribe. Follow my Twitter. I post pics of food and cats. And yeah, catch y'all next time.